Okay, let's start. Nowadays, we have peace and war begin in your mind because of your mind have a lot of things that fighting in yourself. So you should know the different way of thinking between men and women because of you should know how to the men think and how the women thinks. Like this
Start
clip.
discussing men's brains, women's brains, and how they're very different from each other. Now, I want to start with men's brains. All right. Now, men's brains are very unique. Men's brains are made up of little boxes. And we have a box for everything. We've got a box for the car. We got a box for the money. We got a box for the job. We got a box for you. We got a box for the kids. We got a box for your mother somewhere in the basement. We got boxes everywhere. And the rule is the boxes don't touch. When a man discusses a particular subject, we go to that particular box, we pull that box out, we open the box, we discuss only what is in that box. All right? And then we close the box and put it away, being very, very careful not to touch any other boxes. Now, women's brains are very, very different from men's brains. Women's brains are made up of a big ball of wire. And everything is connected to everything. The money's connected to the car, and the car's connected to your job, and your kids are connected to your mother, and everything's connected to everything. And it's like... It's like the internet superhighway, okay? And it's all driven by energy that we call emotion. It's one of the reasons why women tend to remember everything. Because if you take an event and you connect it to an emotion, it burns in your memory and you can remember it forever. The same thing happens for men. It just doesn't happen very often because, quite frankly, we don't care. All right. Women tend to care about everything. And she just loves it. Okay? Now, men, we have a box in our brain that most women are not aware of. This particular box has nothing in it. In fact, we call it the nothing box. And of all the boxes a man has in his brain, the nothing box is our favorite box. If a man has a chance, he'll go to his nothing box every time. That's why a man can do something seemingly completely brain dead for hours on end. You know, like fishing. Now, they've actually measured this. The University of Pennsylvania a couple of years ago did a study and discovered that men have the ability to think about absolutely nothing and still breathe. You know, they connected all the wires and stuff like that and watched the brain activity, then all of a sudden, I think he's dead. Huh? You know, women can't do it. They can't do it. Their minds never stop. And they don't understand the nothing box. And it drives them crazy. Because nothing drives a woman more crazy or makes her feel more irritated than to witness a man doing nothing. Start discussing.
So we will know that the man and woman is have a different thinkings inside. So when we like some people have husband, you will like have something is not connect to each other and always argue to each other. That you should know the way for to think is not the same. And I think everyone, two women, they will think not the same ways. So our mind are capable of both positive and negative thoughts. Inside our mind, we have two things, negative and positive. Normally, I think you should know that sometimes we do something, we must think in negative first because of our mind sometimes have to aware something because of we fear something but we don't know inside. So this is the video to know that between negative person and positive persons think. This is like only example.
Peace and war begins in the mind. A simple trip to the supermarket can provide an illustration of how the human mind is constantly at war within itself. Delicious junk food calls out to us from the shelves, enticing us to buy them and indulge our desires. Our conscience tells us no, tells us to resist temptation, because such food is bad for us. Despite knowing this, we are still unable to silence the little voice within that whispers, "Just buy it, just eat it." Our minds are capable of both positive and negative thoughts. To choose a nutritious food item over junk food is an example of positive thinking. To indulge our cravings despite recognizing that our bodies do not need it is an example of negative thinking. Whether we choose to think positively or negatively is entirely up to us. If we are able to choose positive thoughts over negative thoughts, then we are directing ourselves towards the good virtues, and therefore will be more inclined to make better balanced judgments in our lives. In our daily lives, we have many decisions to make. Our thought process, be it positive or negative, will be actualized through our speech and physical actions. We are fortunate to be able to direct our minds to think positively, but it is unfortunate that much of the time we choose instead to think negatively. Negative thoughts lead to negative actions, which ultimately lead to misery. Therefore, the pertinent question is this: given that our mind controls our actions, how do we direct our minds to always think and act positively, so that we will always have peace and happiness? Conflict often begets more conflict, and much of it is often justified by claiming it was meant to address the problems caused by a prior conflict. For example, Some may hold the position that wars are justifiable because they help to terminate the suffering of the oppressed. However, this is not the right way. Instead, we should find the root cause of the suffering and resolve it in a peaceful way. Peace begins in the mind. If we have a peaceful mind and think in a positive way, our actions are more likely to be good, peaceful, and harmonious. If everyone is able to do this, world peace will naturally result.
Okay, you will know inside our mind we always have war. For negative and negative thinking is always fighting inside your mind. I have a tale about who have positive thinking. This tale are talk about one king and his servants. Once upon a time, there was a city ruled by the king who loved hunting. One day, one day, a rebellion broke out in the city. There were people rising to overthrow the king's power, which likely to win. When the rebel army approached the city, the king consulted his court friends, his minister, and included his trusty servant. The king asked us, "What do you think about this?" His servants asked us, "Good, sir." The king asked, "How good?" The servant said, "This situation right now, although it doesn't look very good, but at least we will know who would be loyal to us, who want to change the party to that side. Which if we can defeat this rebellion, you will only be left with your your loyalty forever. So you doesn't have to worry about them anymore." The king always uh, agree with his servant. After that, the king was greatly encouraged and successfully defeated the rebellion. Shortly after the rain seasons, it rained so hard that it flooded into the city and caused all the traffic congestion, unable to travel outside of the city. The king, who normally went out into the forest to hunt, he was annoyed. So he consulted his trusty servant again and asked, "What do you think about this problem?" His servant asked, "Good, sir." "How good?" The servant said, "Even now we couldn't go around. It's okay, because now it's rain season. However, go out into the forest wouldn't be fun for sure. And it is a good thing that when the water recedes, our farmer will be able to grow their crops so they so that they can grow their products and be able to stock up on supply when they are needed." The king agree with his servant again. After the rain seasons, the water level is decreased already. The king went out into the forest and hunted as he liked as usual, which thirsty servant followed him. But then, while the king was on the horseback, his pocket knife is that he hang on his waist and and the knife is fall down and cut his little fingers that he has torn in front of his eye. And then the king asked the his servant as before that what do you think about this? His servant asked him again, good sir. The king asked back, how good it is. I feel so hurt. The servant answered that it's still better than die. The king was very angry, and ordered the soldier to bring his servant to the jails. And the time passed. 10 years later, the king went hunting as usual, while his servant was still forgetting in the prison as before. This time, the king's misfortune when he entered the forest, he encountered a cannibal type whose number have a lot of people more than his soldier, and all soldier was captured and was killed and boiled to death. There was only one king left. When the cannibal tribes prepared to slaughter the king into the pot, they noticed that the king doesn't have a little fingers on his right foot. This tribe believed that to eat a person with incomplete organ, it will be bad luck when they eat. So they ordered to release the king. That time the king was very glad that he survived and returned to the city. Suddenly he thought of the word that his trusty servant 10 years ago, that he cast him to the jail and ordered the soldier to release his servant out. And he talked to his servant after 10 years again. Because of he know if only it is better have a little fingers slash than to death. And then the king asked his servant back how is going in the prison. The servant always asked him, good sir. The king looks wondering. you stay in the jail 10 years ago. Why you think it's good? He will ask back, how good do you think? His servant said, if I am not in the prison, would also follow him to that day, and it would probably be eaten by cannibals. This is the story that make you always like think in positive thinking. But if you think in positive, it's better. But you should know that when you think in positive, you should rely on the true story, what it can be. You don't always only think in positive. If you have to go to in the dangerous place, you should think in the true. That is dangerous place. You have to beware and take care yourself. So that's why you have to think in the true story that it would be. But think in positive is also good. So this is you will know that your mind will have a lot of things inside. So I say talk about kilesa. Kilesa is a Bali language. It is the definements of three things like greed, anger, and delusion inside. So in our mind we have this kilesa that it is a negative feeling that will be have fall again in your mind. Always occur every time. Like when you have greed, sometimes you want like a new mobile phone or you want new iPad. This is great in your size. But in the other way, say if you buy this iPad, you will have to spend a lot of money. That is again inside your mind. Or anger. Anger when you like dislike some person or dislike some situation that you make you feel annoyed. You will be angry. And sometimes you have to fight in your mind to calm down your mind, to be a normal person. The the thing that can solve this the anger is uh like forgiveness or like let it go in meditation. Let everything go. It will be past. If the time pass, everything will be past. When you look back or at that time you feel like a joke, why you have to anger. This is how to solve the anger. And delusion is like sometimes you feel like something a lot, mm, like like the handsome guy or the beautiful woman or the something that very nice, very beautiful in your mind. Normally you solve this problem in your mind is like you should think about uh something is not not nice. Like when you see the good shape, you see when now he have a good shape. When the time pass, he will be older, and the shape that he have or her have is not the same. It will be like old already. It's not good like this time. it can solve the problem about delusions. So this is we always have what insight, and you know what it is in negative inside your mind that you will always have. So the Glisa like a implant microchip or the computer virus that is constant and waiting to seize any opportunity to first and contaminate and overpower to pure element of your mind as they life and develop. So when our mind become corrupt with kilesa, the brightness and clarity of the mind is diminished, causing our perception and response to be inaccurate and inappropriate. So it will be make your mind like depressed. So with our defined mind, we will rebel everyone. We see finding negativity in person around us. We develop negative thought, feeling, and emotions because of our defined mind. We see our fellow human being as enemy because of our defined mind. So Kilesa is a true cross of suffering. It has immense power to turn the wretchedness into evilness, delude the mind with the wrong perception and deceive the sense as to what is good and what is bad. Once we realize this, we can see the defilements and the true army of mankind. We will want to be free from the power defilement. We will want to have knowledge. We will want to know the truth, and we will move toward right. That meditation is the gateway to true enlightenment. Everyone who meditates could achieve the same results. And it means the meditate is like the way to solve this problem and solve the wall in your mind. Meditate. Okay. Today I hope everyone understand that I talk today and hope everyone know your mind completely and can adapt in your life to stop the war in your mind. So this is a time for ending. Anyone have question? If don't have any question, just okay. Good to see you all for today, and thank you for listen.
I hope everybody learned something from today's session. Before we leave, we will say goodbye to our monk by putting our palms together and say namaste again. Now I would like to ask everyone to turn on your cameras so we can take a picture together. Please turn on your camera and put your palms together and smile. I will count from 1 to 10 for our technical team to take the picture. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Hope to see you all again.
Thank you for joining, everyone. Good day. See you. See you, Eileen. See you, Catherine.